Hey guys, I'm Katie and I'm a professional pilot, and I am here to talk to you about what I know about the state of pilot hiring currently in March of 2024. Some of you may have seen on social media that Southwest has actually stopped their first officer hiring for the rest of the year. It's only March, so that's kind of alarming to some people. So let's get into it, and I'll tell you what I know as someone who's in the industry. Now, I'm not currently working in the airlines. I've chosen to go a different route for right now. So if you know more than I do, please put it in the comments. Let's get the information out there so people can make the best career decisions for themselves with the most up-to-date information. What Southwest sent out last week was an email to everybody that has ever applied to them or has talked to a recruiter or is part of their careers portal. And the website basically just said that they are no longer hiring anyone for 2024, and it's going to be basically through the end of the year. Now, a lot of people are speculating that this may have something to do with some of the production issues that Boeing is facing, since Southwest only flies the 737. Other airlines may fly like Airbus and Boeing together, so this would really affect Southwest, and they're maybe just not able to keep up with hiring and training new first officers. Again, I don't work for Southwest, total speculation, and this is just what people have been saying. So with this, people are starting to kind of talk about whether pilot hiring has just stopped altogether. If you're new to aviation, you will come to learn that the industry is very much full of ups and downs. What I mean by that is, there might be a time where hiring is going crazy, we have a pilot shortage, and then COVID hits and nothing is happening in the industry. Aviation is very, very economic dependent, and usually the first thing that people stop doing is flying commercially and just saving money. So usually the airlines will lay off people or stop hiring during those times. I personally don't think that's what's going on with Southwest right now. We know that there is a pilot shortage, and that is driven by the fact that right now pilots for the airlines have to retire at 65 years old. So what that means is the airlines know exactly how many of their pilots are going to have to retire at a certain point in time. And they're trying to replenish their pilots from the current pool of applicants or people that are even certificated airline transport pilots in the country. Right now, their statistics show that there are not enough pilots to meet that need. So what has happened is a ton of new pilots have jumped in the industry and have started to train. Well, as you can imagine, it takes years to get a pilot to the point where they're flying an Airbus or a 737 for a big airline. So right now, people are a little bit annoyed because they may have gotten into the industry, done their flight training, and they're at like maybe 500 hours and they can't find a job. They're having a really hard time with it. However, that's actually pretty normal for aviation before the last couple of years, when it was just an insanely hot hiring market for pilots of all hours. So if you are a low-time pilot, this is the time that you really need to set yourself apart. You need to be going to flight schools in person. You need to be involved with local organizations. You need to be bringing your paper resume to some of these organizations that you want to work for on the lower hours scale, and that will probably get you a lot more success than your peers. Also, a lot of aviation hiring is a lot about networking. So keep in contact with people that you've trained with, your flight instructors, things like that, and don't be afraid to reach out to people. But the state of hiring that this email is sort of talking about is for major airlines. So people usually go to a regional airline, then they'll do a little bit of time there and then go to a major airline. Right now, a lot of the regionals seem to have slowed down hiring as well. I know that Horizon is not hiring first officers. Some of the other ones maybe, but their classes are much smaller and it has slowed down. However, that is compared to a really high, outside of the norm amount of hiring that was occurring in the past 5 years, where basically people were joking that you just had to fog a mirror to get hired by an airline. And we're kind of seeing that change a little bit. However, right now, we still have quite a few people that are actually hiring still. So right now, this is the current list that I have put together. Again, I don't work as an airline pilot right now. I do have my ATP, but I work in air ambulance. So this may not be the most current up-to-date list. If you have better information, throw it in the comments section for us. But right now we have Delta Airlines is still hiring for 2024. It's just reduced, which again is still, I think, around 2,000 pilots for the year, which is really high. United is still hiring. I actually reached out to a United recruiter and they did confirm that as well. American Airlines is still hiring. Alaska is not hiring, but they are taking applications. And again, this could go back to the Boeing issues that we've seen recently, because Alaska does use a lot of Boeing aircraft as well. Hawaiian Airlines is still hiring. Spirit is not hiring. Their application window is closed. But we also know that Spirit was going through a merger process that didn't end up happening. So there's a lot of movement in that company. Potentially, this could be a part of that. They might have just stopped hiring because they weren't sure if they were going to be merging with another airline. JetBlue is currently hiring. I've actually seen conflicting reports on that. So if you know anything about JetBlue, let us know in the comments. Southwest, again, not hiring. We just talked about that one. Frontier, Allegiant, Breeze, and Sun Country, according to what I could find, are still hiring. So again, if you are a pilot that is in the industry, maybe you're hitting your 1,500 hours, you're trying to get up to a major airline, don't freak out, but also know that, in the past 2 or 3 years, people were getting hired at I know of someone who got hired at Delta Airlines with 1,700 hours total time. That is unheard of. And that is not going to stay around, right? So just because someone's not getting hired by Frontier or Spirit at 1,500 hours, that doesn't mean that there's a major issue in the industry. We're just maybe returning to a little bit of the norm, which is where major airline FOs would have 4,000 to 5,000 hours total time. They'd have a lot of 121 time. They might have been a 121 captain at a regional already. So very highly qualified applicants. It seems like we're shifting a little bit more towards that, but still, again, a lot of hiring going on at these major airlines. The next thing I want to talk about is if you are trying to get hired by one of these airlines, the best thing that you can be doing is going to a hiring event. These are conferences such as Women in Aviation. The next one coming up is going to be March 21st through the 23rd in Orlando, Florida. It is Women in Aviation Conference. So if you're really trying to get hired, you're a qualified applicant, you may want to go put on, business casual, get your paper resume, and go into one of these events. So anyways, this is my update on the state of the industry for March of 2024. I hope it was helpful to you. Again, if I made any errors or anything is off or you have more up-to-date information, please throw it in the comments so we can help people out.